I'm a show and tell teacher.
Love it. Okay. All right. Hello, hello, hello. See some friendly faces in there. Hi, everybody. Welcome, welcome. We're going to give people just a minute. Oh, right. We are live on YouTube. So even if you are not in the Zoom meeting, you might just be scrolling around on YouTube and saying, hello, we're going to have a party. So stick around, have a little fun, very low key. Ishel, how are you? You made it on time. All right. Very cool. Um, Anna, really nice to see you. Michelle, Megan, and all right, we got people in the room. Okay. Well, we'll see how we're doing here. Welcome, welcome everybody. We're going to give just another minute or so. We know it takes time. We always have little technical glitches and all those types of fun things. So we'll see how it goes. But let's get to everything. Oh, there's a new setup here. How can people watch on YouTube? Gwen, do you have a link or for those who might want to jump
Oh,
in just
yep,
on
I
YouTube?
can do that.
Awesome. So Shell may want to share that out. All right. Okay, we're getting people showing up. We're going to get going with all of this. So, in order to save everybody, well, not save. We're not going to save. We're going to waste a little time. We're going to have a little fun and waste a little time. Not waste. We'll get into it. So I'm going to get going with everything. So welcome everybody. Welcome to the launch party. For the book, oh, I gotta have these nearby, sorry. For the book, Edtech for Multilingual Learners, and for the toolkit, this is a fake paper version of it, but it is a digital resource, the ELT toolkit from TESOL. So first, let's get into everything as we're going. So probably you know that I'm Brent Warner. If you signed up for this, you probably are aware that I am the author of both of these products. And so I do some teaching, I do some talking, and I do some typing. We're going to get right into it, though. First, biggest thing is big thanks to ISTE and to TESOL, who are the two publishers of these wonderful products. ISTE for the book and TESOL for the toolkit, and extra special thanks to TESOL today for hosting the webinar and everything. Put up a lot of effort into making sure that this all came together. So as we're working together with ISTE and TESOL, I am not sure that all the ISTE and TESOL people are going to be happy with me about this, but I'm going to do it just for the next hour, which is we are here in ISTESOL temporarily. The two wonderful organizations, you guys, there's so much stuff going on between the two. So if you tend to be an ISTE person and don't know much about TESOL, hang out with TESOL. If you tend to be a TESOL person and don't know much about ISTE, go hang out with ISTE. It'll mix it up. Let's have some fun and let's get into everything. So before we get too far ahead of things, what are we here for? Well, we're celebrating the toolkit and we're celebrating the book. And so the toolkit is, well, I'm going to walk you through it briefly here. I'm not going to spend a ton of time, but I just want to make sure you see what it is and what we're going for here. So the toolkit is at TESOL, and you can see it there at tesol.org/ELT-toolkit. If you want to get access to it, there is a code there, ETT30, 30% off if you're interested. But let's go take a quick look at it. If you haven't seen this at all, once you log into the toolkit, it is basically a curated resource of tools and tips and tech tips that you can use for different aspects of your teaching and your teaching life, I guess is the way to say it. And so if you are kind of interested in technology, but maybe you don't have time to track everything down and follow up what's going on with all the tech and things like that, but you're saying, I want to use these things, it's just a bit much. The goal here is to help you out through that process and to make sure that it's useful for everybody. Now you can see running through these cards at the beginning that there are a lot of classic tools. There are also some lesser known tools. And the best way that I like to use this is that you can go through, you can search by keyword. So if you know exactly what you're looking for, you can go search there. You can click here on the popular searches and you can see like, hey, based on skill sets that we're looking for. And the best one for me is search by filtering. So you can actually choose, hey, I'm looking for something that does differentiation and personalized learning, and then it'll bring up some of the choices for that. And then if you wanted to go even further and select some tags to bring it in on, so listening or, the pricing or where I might be able to use it or whatever else it is. So maybe I'll go into, maybe I'll go for freemium, see what things that I can get there. And so you can start to see what is available inside of there. So if I were to look at as of tomorrow with all the announcements, or as of yesterday, I guess, all the announcements where they changed quizzes to Wayground, since it showed up first here, we'll take a brief look at it. You can see that the every page inside of here kind of has an introduction to the tool, steps for how to get started with that tool, and some visuals to help you along with that. Further, we have some diving deeper so you can see like, hey, what are some ways that maybe you might use it in your classroom? I also tried as many times as possible to find similar tools because maybe your school already has access to something else that kind of does the same-ish thing. And so no need to spend money where you've already got the money spent. And then also extra resources that are out there on the web for any of those tools. So we have a lot of things that are kind of connecting you to look at them and see what might be similar or what might help you out in those cases. And we have an overall tool index where you can walk through everything one by one. It's more than 100 tools, and we're going to be adding more every couple of months, or every 6 months, I guess. We're doing twice a year. And so if you need a little help and kind of want some guidance on some vetted tools that I've gone through, please check out the ELT Toolkit. And thanks so much to Teasel for all the crazy amount of work. Tomiko, I see, is in the room here and put in so much work into helping making this happen. So big thanks for that. Next up is the book. So Edtech for Multilingual Learners. It's a oops, I did not update the language on this. This is 48 fun and flexible activities. It's not 100 plus tools. It's 48 fun and flexible activities. This is the book, the physical version of it, but let me make it a little easier for us to peek through, which is here you can kind of see just a little sense of what's going on inside of the book. We've got different activities based on your main language skills. So listening, speaking, reading, writing, vocabulary, pronunciation, all of these things. And then there are 8 activities that are tech ingrained, but there's lots of different ways to help you through these. So if you move through the book a little bit, and you'll start to see some of the activities and how they work, there is information on all of these for how to run the activity, what the teacher's role is, if you wanted to add reflection activities or extensions to them. And then you'll see at the very end, there's also a section on materials and tools. The one thing that I do really want to share around the materials and tools part is that essentially, the book is not written in a way that's focused on the materials and the tools. It's meant that they're saying, hey, you can use these tools, but hopefully you're flexible enough to figure out, hey, this is going to work for me in this way or in that way. And so the goal is to kind of make it an option for you to implement the activity in the way that you like. So they go from all sorts of different levels. They tend to be organized a little bit easier to a little bit more involved, but I hope that this is useful for you. I'll also point out I should have opened up the page. Every single page in there has a QR code, and the QR code will take you to a site that has a pre-made slide deck for every single activity. So you can just launch the slide deck, and if you need to customize it a little bit for yourself or for your students, you can do that. So it takes you about 85 to 90% of the way there just to get started with the activity. So hopefully, if you're interested in one of these activities or many of these activities, you can get started very quickly with them. All right, so if you're interested in the book, ISTE.org/tech-multilingual, and there's a 20% discount code over there at ESL Tech as well. All right, so if you're, oh, and then I'll also have copies if you're at ISTE this weekend as well. So please do make sure that you are in the running for these prizes. We're going to be giving away quite a lot of these. Thanks to everybody for the comments. I'll be checking these in a little bit. EduSharing. Thank you, Gwen, for dropping that link there. EduSharing.swag. All you have to do is drop in your name and your email address, and later we'll follow up with you to make sure that you get anything that you win. And we are going to be giving away quite a lot of nice stuff. So thanks to Teasel and to ISTE and everybody for making these gifts just available for people. And we have a pretty good chance of winning today too, which is great. So let's get started. Sarah Davila, are you in the room? I know you're here with us.
I am here with you. I am alive.
Wonderful.
We're going to see
Okay.
how it goes.
So Sarah, welcome. Thank you so much for coming. Everybody knows you. You're all
I
over the
hope
place.
so.
But English language specialist, GSE ambassador. I love this title. Learning Alchemist. What a great title there. I did just snag
Right.
these from your LinkedIn profile, but that's the one I want to use. So I'm going to hand things over. Oh, by the way, you guys, I didn't clarify. What we're doing today is each person, I've got a handful of guests, and they're sharing some of their ideas about what's useful in the classroom. And so I'm going to go right on over, stop sharing, and give things over to Sarah.
All right. So I am, hopefully, some of you have met me or you may have been in presentations with me before. If you have been, don't be shy. I love to see people who've seen me before. If you are new, hopefully you're a Sarah fan by the time we finish. I don't know. We'll see how it goes. But when Brent gave me this opportunity, he told me I only had 10 minutes. So I thought, what is a topic that I can address in 10 minutes that I really need about 10 hours for? And I decided to do some quick tips for AI in the classroom. I thought that would make a lot of sense. So I have 10 minutes. I'm going to give you two really quick tips, and hopefully you find both of them useful. So again, as Brent mentioned, I'll just really quickly, if you don't know who I am, Learning Alchemist is my favorite thing because what I like to do is take research and practical knowledge to turn those things into learning gold in the classroom. So it's really all about making sure that us and our students are getting everything that we want them to get out of that learning experience. I have done a lot of work all over the world. Most recently, I supported the US State Department and the Ministry of Education in Panama in revising the national curriculum, the pre-K through 12 national curriculum. So I do all kinds of work. And it's a lot of fun. We have two things that we're going to cover today. The first thing is we're going to look at 4 keys for prompting success. And the second thing that we're going to look at is why starting with your past is going to help you with the future when you're working with AI content. So without further ado, really quickly in the chat, tell me, how do you feel about your prompting in an emoji? So give me your best emoji. You can find the little emoji at the bottom of the chat box. Click on that and show me your best emoji for how you feel when you are AI prompting. Itchell, that's not great. I love that it's covered, but you're kind of looking. Letty is like, yes. Katie loves it. Tamiko, strong. Larry, I love the eye roll there. That's good. Brent, I know you're a superstar, so that's good. So some of us are good at it. A few of us maybe not so much. Anna's a genie. Eugenia is still thinking about it. So it seems like some of us have it figured out. Some of us have actually created our own prompting models. But if you're still kind of in this space where I'm like, not sure what I'm doing with our prompting, I'm going to give you a quick model that you can use inside of your classroom. And this is called the 4 T's prompting model. I find this to be absolutely fantastic as a teacher. And it's really easy to create a prompt that is actually covers all 4 of these things and is only a sentence long, which is one of the reasons why I like to use this model. This is the basics of what you need to know when you're working with these LLMs because of how they're trained. When you jump into it, what they need to know is, how do I help you? They can do anything in the world. They can be anybody that they want to be, but who are they going to be for you? So this is why the first thing that we want to do is to start off with the traits. What are the characteristics of this AI? As language professionals, as those of us who work inside of language learning, many of us have done things like role plays. So this is very much going into the AI and giving it its role play assignment. My favorite role play assignment for teachers is as my TESOL assistant. I find that that covers most of the basics, and that very quickly trains the AI on, you understand TESOL, you are an assistant, you are supporting a teacher. That's what an assistant does. So just that very, very simple prompt, and I'm going to type that in there. Again, this is how I like to do traits. You are my TESOL assistant. So this is part one of my prompt. Now, the next thing a TESOL assistant needs to know is, what is the job that you need me to do? Think about it. If you had an assistant, what would your assistant need to know in order to successfully help you create some lesson plans? So the next thing that we really want to tell it is, what is the task that you're doing? So for example, maybe it's you are helping me create an information gap role play for my students. And then, of course, if this is my TESOL assistant, they probably also need to know a little bit about who they're doing that for, who are ESL learners in Chicago at an A2 level. I'm going to use CEFR beginners if you don't know what A2 is. So here's the next part of my prompt. So first I'm covering the traits, then I'm giving it the task just like I would to my TESOL assistant. Then the next thing I need to do is give it the tone. This is actually really important. If I'm going into a public school environment, there is a very specific tone I want for that content versus if I were going into a university setting. So I want to be sure that my bot understands this information, and I will say, this is for public middle school. I used to be a middle school teacher, so I always like to talk about public middle school. And so now that covers my tone. And the final thing that I need to do is, what is the target? What is the intended output? Now, in an English language context, I've given it the task, I've given it the very specific thing I needed to do, who I needed to design for, what kind of tone that looks like, but I didn't give it the most important information, which is, what do I want my students to learn in this role play? So perhaps the context, which is the target of the role play, is to teach weather-related vocabulary for talking about the weather. All right, so very, very simple, very easy to do, very, very quick prompt. We're actually going to use this in just 1 second, so you're going to see how it works. And with this kind of model, you can really control the output that you're going to get with different AI engines. However, there is a second thing that I also like to talk about with teachers, and this is something that I am discovering the more that I use AI to create content, and that is the surprising benefit of going into my old content to create new content. While it is very tempting to pull up any of these AIs like a ChatGPT or a Gemini to create some new content from scratch, often you spend a lot of time trying to get just the right thing out of this model. It's not giving it, it's not exactly where you need it to be. You may find yourself reprompting several times to really get it to exactly where you want it to be in your classroom. Oh no, that was the wrong, oh, did I cut the wrong slide? No! All right, I'm just going to talk about it. We'll stop sharing. I had another slide there, but that's okay. I missed it. So the reason that we want to use old content is what that happens when we bring in old content is now we're actually giving the model an understanding of our pedagogical preferences, how we design content, the look and feel of the content, and what that output really needs to look like. So unfortunately, I lost the slide that I was going to share, but the good news is by losing the slide, that just means, oh wait, did I share my entire screen? Hold on. I'm having one of those moments. I did. Okay, we're good. I'm going to need some yes, no help. I'm classic teacher mode right now. Can everybody see Gemini up on the screen? All right, great. Who in the chat box, can you tell me, are you a Gemini user? Have you used a lot of Gemini? I know a lot of people probably chat GPT, but maybe not a people are Gemini people. All right, that's great. If this is new, so I could do this in chat GPT, but I want to show you how to do this in Gemini. And the reason is many of us use Google already, and a lot of us have Google School platforms in our schools. Google is very popular. So I thought it would be kind of fun to show you how this works on Gemini. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to reset my screen here so we can make it a little bit bigger for you. Come on, screen, go. I would like you to be larger. There we go. So I'm going to jump into Gemini here. Very much like ChatGPT, I have an input area where I can input my content. Now, I'm going to start from some old content. I don't want to start from some new content. So really quickly, give me a thumbs up if you can see some weather cards on the screen. Who can see it? All right, great. This is classic. I'm sure all of you have used something like this before. You have cards, you cut them out, you hand them out to your students, you have them do weather vocabulary. All right, here's what we're going to do. I'm going to take those cards. I'm going to upload these to my Gemini right here. I'm going to use those weather cards. There we go. And then I am actually going to put a prompt in. Now, since we're not creating weather flashcards, and just because I knew I only had 10 minutes, I actually put together a bit of a prompt before we came on here. So because this has already trained my model, it's going to have the pedagogy, the information that I want in the background. What I am going to do is to give it a very specific task as my TESOL assistant. So I am going to tell it, just because I never wanted to forget, as my TESOL assistant. So we have that in there. I would like you to create an interactive flashcard application based on this PDF. All right, we're getting really crazy here, but Brett said go wild, so that's what we're going to do. It's a party. I brought my party tricks. So we're going to turn this into an interactive vocabulary flashcard game. I want vocabulary flashcards. I want a matching game with lots of colors and a quiz. And I'm giving it a little bit of extra scaffolding here. If you've been to any of Brett's workshops on AI prompting, you know the more you tell it about the task and the more details you give, the better the output. So I'm giving it an example of my flashcards. I'm giving it an example of the matching game. I'm giving it a little bit of information about the quiz. And because I like learning magic, on the home screen, I also want to add some tips based on learning science. Now, all of this is going to happen. It's going to make an application for us in real time. I've pre-trained this model by using this classic material that I already know how to use. The only final magic trick here is this canvas button. I'm going to click on this canvas button. That's very important. I'm going to click play. I'm going to make this a little bit smaller so we can see it on the screen. Oh, my keypad is not working. All right. So now you can see what's happening is Gemini is thinking. We know that these models love to think. That is a very distracting term. They're not really thinking. They're processing through all of the algorithmic information that they have from multiple different predictive algorithms of what I could be asking for and trying to figure out what it is. I've given it a very clear prompt. Notice here on the right side of my screen, you can see code being generated. Who can read this? Any code readers in the audience today? I know HTML. I know this is not HTML. It is CSS. That's right. I can see the CSS here. It's actually going a little bit further. I'm so glad somebody knew that. I learned div classes and how to do CSS way back in the day, and I feel so knowledgeable whenever I recognize this. But to be honest, I have no idea what's going on here. I have like some basic information. I can tell where the links are at. I know where it's giving it colors and information, but I haven't done my own coding in a really long time. However, Gemini has just done this for me. Now, you can see it's put this all together. We're going to find out how good it is because what I'm going to do is I'm going to share my canvas. This is where we get to have a lot of fun. I've copied this link. I'm going to pop this into the chat. So you should be able to open this up on your own. We'll go ahead and open it up here on a new screen and see how this works out. All right. It will ask you if you want to continue because I made this. And there you go. You should now be able to play with this flashcard in real time. Here are the words. I did a pretty good job with that. It's got the different words. Now I could go in, I can do a little bit more work on here, maybe get it to show me the definition, etc. But that's not bad. I've got the flashcards. Let's see how it did with the matching game. Sunny and sunny. Whew, I got it correct. There we go. Beautiful. That was great. And then finally a quiz. Spring. I'm going to go with the flower. I was correct there. How quickly did I do that? Old content, taught it the pedagogy, set it up for what I want, and then here, look at this. Learning tips for success. Review the flashcards for several days. This helps you move the vocabulary to long-term memory. So I'm not just telling students to have fun and go play this game. I'm also helping them understand how this is going to help them learn English. So that is my fast 10 minutes of content for you. And if you are interested in this, and if you're like, wow, I would really like to spend some more time learning about this content, well, I have good news for you because coming up next month, I will be for TESOL leading a course on using AI in the English language classroom. This is my shameless self-promotion. So if any of you are interested, and I'm shamelessly self-promoting this because I know that we're about to have a secret announcement as soon as I finish talking. So very quickly, if you're interested, this is a 5-day course. We're going to have 90 minutes each day. This is very interactive. Just as you saw me do, we're going to do a little bit of show, and then you are actually going to create some of these types of applications, use these different AI models, learn how they can work for you and how they can work for your students. So if you're interested in that, I'm going to toss this into the chat box, and then I am going to hand it back over to Brent and Gwen. I have to stop sharing. I stopped sharing. All
Yeah,
right.
you did. Oh my God, so cool. That I have never done that before, Sarah. That stuff is amazing. Very cool. I love all the multiple actions to that, right? Like part one, part two, part three, and then they can cycle back through. I love it. I mean, that right there, value add all of
You should see what I do when I have 15 minutes.
that. I'm sorry for cutting you short, but I do appreciate it. And I'm sure everybody here does as well. We're going to get right back into it. So let me drop this into the chat because if you happen to step in late, or if you came in, or if you're watching on YouTube, you can sign up for the prizes, which we're going to get started right now. We're going to be giving away too. So as Sarah mentioned, she has the AI in the English language classrooms coming up in July. So we have a ticket. TESOL has kindly offered a ticket to give away. I like the rocket ships too. And so you will have so you can win a ticket to join Sarah's 5-day workshop. Really, really excellent value. You can see just getting started with that. And we'll also start off with a digital download option for the book, EdTech for Multilingual Learners. So if you have signed up, we'll get you going. We got a few people in here, not a ton, which is great, which means your chances of winning are high. So let's get right to it. I love it when we got this going on. So we're going to spin the wheel. I'll let Sarah
Good
virtually
luck,
spin it. Once
everyone.
she spins her
All right.
sends her head down, I'll give the spin the
All right.
wheel.
The 3, 2, 1, go for it. All right. I'm rooting for all of you.
Anna, all right, congratulations, Anna. Wonderful. We'll make sure that you get information on how you're going to take care of that. So I'm going to make sure your name is written down. I will reach out to you a little bit later. You did put your email in there. And so I'll make sure you're clear on that. And next is a digital copy of the book, EdTech for Multilingual Learners. That is a courtesy of ISTE. So let's get going here. Da, 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 da. Ah, Robin. Okay, Robin. Okay, wonderful. Thank you, Robin. Congratulations, Susan. Don't worry, everybody. There's limited number of people here and lots to give away. So I have a feeling most people are going to get something. So that is an extra win for everybody. All right. Um, let's so thank you guys so much. Thank you so much, Sarah. I know Sarah cannot stay for a long time, but she came for a good time.
I
And that's the most
came for
important
a
part.
good time. That's right. And I know that it will be a good time. Have a great evening, everyone. I might pep back in if I get a chance to, but otherwise, I'll see you again soon.
Awesome. Thank you. And also, I will point out there is a second ticket coming at the end of the party here. So if you're saying, I really want to get that one, we can get to you another chance back there at the on the end of the event. So congratulations. And we're moving forward to the wonderful Miss Kate
Hello,
Tolnai.
hello, hello.
All right. So Kate, credentialing strategist, and Kate just had a wonderful announcement for herself online. She is
Yeah,
a huge advocate of badging and micro credentialing and all of these types of things. And someone just made a job for her, I guess, right? So you're moving right into it. Wonderful AI and digital learning specialist. So Kate, I am going to stop sharing, and you can take control.
I am going to. Thank you. Thank you for and I just saw that that prompt was added into the chat too. That's fantastic. Okay, let me get oriented here, get so I can see all my faces. Hi everybody. Um Congrats. Let's do it one more time. Congrats to Brent. This is a party for Brent, by Brent, with Brent, and I'm just blown away. Like fangirl over here and so happy to be a part of this. Thanks for asking me to be here. So I'm going to go ahead and put a link in the chat that's going to take everybody to the document that I'm showing right now because I don't know if, I mean, you must have just known, Brent, to put me after Sarah and not before because I would not have wanted to go before that. That being said, now that our minds are kind of like, you know, blown by Sarah's like amazingness, I am going to share with you a resource that I love called Flippity. Put an exclamation point in the chat if you've used Flippity before. I would love to know. Oh, yep, Sarah's still here. So, Sarah, what you've put into play, what you've shown us is just like so exciting and so much of what I want to dive into. And yet, there's many of us that still want to access the interaction that you created and just might not be there yet. And so, the resource is that you will find here, Flippity, is literally it exists so that you can simply transition data that's on a Google spreadsheet into all of what they call cool stuff here inside of Flippity. So a lot of the coding and and kind of the tech that Sarah made more visible for us is going to be absorbed into Flippity for you. And so you get to basically go shopping and see that there's let's see, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, more than 30 activities that you can create, all by starting with a spreadsheet, and not even like a complicated spreadsheet, like more like a spreadsheet that just has information on it. And I'll share with you too that I am a huge lover of educational play, games. I co-wrote a book with Lindsay Blass, also with ISTE, back in 2019 called Power Up Your Classroom, Reimagining Learning Through Gameplay. Thanks, Brent. So just giving teachers an opportunity to think about how to bring more moments of joy and play into their classroom strategically and mindfully. So knowing this audience and thinking about ways that gameplay and interactions can bring our learners together, they can collaborate, they can clarify their skills in real time, there's moments for celebration. I looked through that lens at the resources in Flippity and I came up with a couple examples. And on this document, you're actually going to see like the lock steps that you would take to interact with a few of these tools. And I couldn't help myself. I used some AI to help me generate the content. And so I gave you a prompt that you can actually copy and paste into whatever large language model you use to help you do this because I use AI as my thinking partner and my brainstormer, and that is how I want to set you up to do it too. So let's actually get into one. So this is actually called the randomizer, and I have created a randomizer. It's like one of those if you watch like the old school game shows where you can like it's like the Wheel of no, not the Wheel of Fortune, the Price is Right wheel times 5. So as I'm pushing this button here, it's going to spin all of them. And the thought I had was you can put together this randomizer to actually challenge your students to maybe work on their pronunciation or work on context clues. And so as you spin it, you'll see a student write a sandwich to the park on weekends. Like none of this makes sense, okay? But can we click through? Can we roll individual columns? Again, why does it want to write? Or you can go one at a time. A student buys a sandwich. Here we go. In the bakery on weekends. That is a sentence that contextually makes sense in the English language. And having your students kind of be in charge of that randomizer adds that other layer of clarification and lets them practice. And so I want to show you how you can actually make something like this. And this is just one use case of a gazillion different ways you can use the randomizer tool. So the way that Flippity works, this is the tool here. You can look at the demo of any of these, but if you click on instructions, you're actually going to have an opportunity to walk through these steps. And so you're going to go ahead and make a copy of a template. And like I said, these are the steps you want to take. So you want to make a copy because all of that tech stuff is built into each of these spreadsheets for you. And now you can actually just fill in these columns. You can keep going. So each column represents a different spinner on the randomizer. And so obviously they set you up to have lots and lots of them. And you can simply delete what's on here and fill in what you would want to. So the thought I had was, if we ask it to put subjects, verbs, objects, location, and time, so some of those constructs in there, if we ask the AI to help us generate this and then come up with 10 options in each of those categories, I'm just going to go ahead and copy this and paste it into ChatGPT here. In just a moment, you're going to see that it's going to generate a table that's going to be able to, you can copy and paste this directly into the spreadsheet there. So you can take it as is. I'm going to go ahead and select those top columns right there. Or sorry, that top row. Let me delete what's there. So now I've changed the title of each of those columns. I'm then going to just select everything that was on that table and copy it and then paste it right there. So in just a moment, I've been able to generate the content that's all of those in all of those columns. And of course, you could edit these as you see fit. So the next step, it's going to ask you to publish your spreadsheet. So file, share, publish to the web. File, share, publish to the web. And you're going to go ahead and click publish, which is going to generate a link. And this link is the one you need to copy. So we're going to copy that. The next step, it says, click on the Get the Link Here tab and paste that link. So Get the Link Here tab. There you go. Publish, copy the link, paste it in. And then it says, click on the link that appears in cell A5 to go to the randomizer. So I'm going to click on this link here, and it's going to take me to the randomizer that contains the content that was just inserted into that spreadsheet. And the game continues. Okay. Yeah, so fun. Brent, I think I want to pause there. I was going to show another one. There's a Mad Lib that I think is really fun, but I am very aware of our time and I want to make sure everybody has time to share. What do you think?
Totally okay. Yeah, that's great. I mean, Kate, people can find you out there. There's more to do, and you've got it written in here, so really love it. And Kate, we want you to stick around to be able to help with the next prize. So,
Perfect.
so awesome. Thank you. Let me get this up here, and oops, let me just get here we go. Okay, so awesome, Kate. Oh, by the way, I should point out, so This is Kate's book, right? And Kate is actually one of the first people I started talking to. I was like, well, I'm thinking about publishing. Should I do? And she gave me all sorts of ideas and like talking with everything. And so huge thanks. It would not have started all of this without Kate's help. So big, big thank you for that. And this is a copy of her book, which is Power Up Your Classroom. And let's get into it. It's going to be one of the prizes. Kate has kindly offered to give away a copy or two here. So if you are here in the room, you can participate in the next game, which is very simple. Give this monster a name. Kate is going to pick her favorite name on the list. So if you drop in your favorite name, what you think this monster should be named into the chat, Kate will pick her favorite. I'll pick my favorite, and then we'll give you a copy of either the book, and we'll mail that off to you physically, or an access 6 months access to the toolkit, to the ELT toolkit, which is kindly provided by TESOL. So drop your ideas, your names into the into the chat, and we will see what Kate, I'm going to let you choose first because I don't want to steal whichever one you think is the best. But go ahead. We'll give you guys about another 10 or 15 seconds to see what you come up with. We've got some good ones here. Squirt, Harold, Pumpkin, Lamasia. Like that too. This is a little hard if you're watching on YouTube. Sorry, I know this is a chat involved inside, but you can join the room if you like and participate in those ways if you like. If not, totally okay. All right. Don't think too hard. If you got an idea, go ahead. Ooh. All right. Kate, all right. What name do you want? What name do you think is the name to go here?
I mean, I'm kind of torn between Squirt and Lexi Puff and
Hmm.
Mossy. Those are all good. Sorry, Harold and Pumpkin, you're cute, but just didn't strike me the same way.
All right. You can pick your choice, and whatever you choose, we're gonna send off the book.
Okay. Let's go with Squirt.
Squirt. Michelle, congratulations. You're gonna get a copy
Thank
of
you.
Power Up Your Classroom. Yay. And I think you know what I'm gonna do, Kate? Because I was kind of with you on the first two that came up. Okay. Sorry. I was kind of with you on the first two choices as well. So Susan, we're gonna give you the ELT
Yay.
toolkit for the next part. So those two are good. Top winners there. Congratulations, Susan. All right. So thank you so much, Kate. Really appreciate it. And we're gonna move on to Denise. All right, Denise Lowe, I did see you in here as well. So Denise, faculty at Douglas
Hi.
College. Hi, Denise. How are you? BCT. I didn't know exactly, when you're on these boards, it's like the title always rotates. So I wasn't sure if I was up to date
Yeah.
exactly, but I said board member in general. Wonderful advocate for students and all sorts of interesting pedagogy in the classroom as well. So Denise, thank you for coming. I am going to stop sharing and you can share whatever you got on your mind.
Thank you so much for inviting me, Brent. Super excited, and I have been very lucky to be invited to this panel, especially after following the incredible Sarah and Kate. I'm just going to, I like how Kate was like, okay, I'm glad I didn't go before Sarah. I'm also glad I didn't go before the both of them, because what I'm doing is actually formatting what we already are using and make it easier to save time, kind of. So before I begin, I'm just going to do a little bit of a land acknowledgement because I am joining in from Canada, not in the US. So I recognize my privilege as a settler from Hong Kong, a colonized region, and I'm deeply grateful to live and play and work on the unceded traditional ancestral lands of the Coast Salish people, including the territories of the Katsi, Kwantlen, Coquitlam, Musqueam, Kakai, Squamish, and Tawasin Tsleil-Waututh people. I recognize history, culture, and ongoing contributions of these Indigenous communities, and I feel honored to be part of its land's present while also acknowledging its past. So, essentially, this is kind of I feel like for myself, doing this, I've actually saved hours and hours of prep time, is really generating vocabulary. And then, because I actually, before AI, I've been using Quizlet a lot. But the one thing that has kind of always been the barrier is the time to create the Quizlets. And it's the time to kind of like put in the information that is necessary in order to use any of these gamified apps. Whether it is Kahoot, whether it is quizzes, all of those apps, I feel like making it into the format that specific website needs is kind of the biggest struggle and the biggest barrier. I love using it. My students love using it. It's just a matter of getting it in there so that I can use it. So creating the appropriate definitions was one of my struggles as well. So in terms of with ChatGPT now, or any of the Gen AI models or chatbots that anyone can use, I have ChatGPT create the vocabulary list for me, but I give it very specific instructions in terms of my expertise. And I think I want to encourage us to use our expertise with ChatGPT. It doesn't really know specifically what we want. It doesn't know our learners, but we do. So I wanted to create a list of the top 2,000 words in the general service list, and to not include the first 1,000 words, because that's a little bit too low for my learners. So I wanted to focus on that band. And then I also wanted to create, from that list, I asked it to create definitions using simple English. Because a lot of the times when my students go online to search for definitions, even when they use Google or any of the search engines, I find that the definitions that they find are really way too difficult. And then they default to translating, which is not sometimes the best option in terms of context. So I give ChatGPT my reading text, or I ask ChatGPT to generate my reading text. So it's actually creating definitions based on the context. And then they're only using simple English, using the top 1,000 words from the general service list to create these definitions. So this is the creation part that cuts back on time, but really what I want to show you is actually the formatting part of it to use into Quizlet. So I want to show you kind of the steps I take into creating from text all the way to importing it into Quizlet. So I'm just going to ask ChatGPT to create a level appropriate based on the words I want it to be using, or the topic I want it to be using, or the genre I want it to be using. So I create this text, which I'm sure most of you are already doing. Then this is when I paste in the vocabulary list that I would like it to generate for me. For my students, I want 2 different lists. I want a general academic word list because I'm teaching EAP. And so I specifically want the academic word list, and then creating the definitions with very simple definitions. And then a second list to focus on the content words. My students are around B1 level, a separate B1 level. So I wanted to make sure I also cater to students who are a little bit lower. So I set the language to be A2, so that it kind of gives a little bit more of support for my lower level learners. And then I ask it to format it to this format. So term, colon, and then the definition. Then I copy it into Quizlet, and I create the title and the name. And then instead of typing everything individually into each of those boxes, I just go to the import button, and you see me slow typing. I go in and I paste that in, and the custom part I put colon. That's because that's the format I used. And I go in and I check, making sure that everything makes sense for me. And in Canada, we use a U in our color, so I add in the U. And then it's essentially import it, and then I make sure I check everything looks good, import, and then it's pretty much already done. So this, as you can see, literally took me like 2 minutes to do, which before would have taken me like at least 30 to 40 minutes to actually get this done. So for any of the apps that you guys are using online, there usually is a import function that you can just get ChatGPT or Gemini or whatever chatbot you're using to format in the way that makes sense for that app or that website, and it makes it a lot easier. I think that's time. Is that time for me, or do I have a couple minutes, Brett?
You have a couple minutes if you like.
Okay. The last thing is you can also do it for LMS. I use Blackboard, but you could do it for pretty much Moodle, all of that as well. You just put in the formatting instructions for ChatGPT. So you put in the instructions, I give it the website that I want it to use. And then what I do is once I've created the material I want to use, I have ChatGPT create it in a text format file where I just download it, and then I just essentially upload it straight to my LMS. So here is just essentially, this is my Blackboard. I go in, I create the content, and then I upload it as a quiz for my students for practice. You can grade it or not. It could be a formative assessment or a summative assessment. But it just takes a lot of that mind-numbing, tedious work that really is we don't need to be doing, and offloading it onto ChatGPT and just saving our brain space for something more important, like coming to sessions like this and celebrating Brent. So thank you so much. Please connect. I'm on LinkedIn and email.
Awesome.
Thank you so much.
Thank you so much, Denise. I mean, I love that use, right? Like this is exactly the type of stuff we should be spending more time talking about. It's like, let's reduce the wasted time on clicking a box and filling in the next thing right there. Wonderful. Awesome. So great way to save some time. Thank you so much again, Denise. It's really great. And we are going to, oops, let me bring my slides back up here. We're going to get into the next game and the next little giveaway here. So here we go. So okay, so we're going to give away here a digital download of the book again and a 6-month subscription to the Toolkit. So for who it may be, here is how it's going to work. We're going to drop a question again, and you're going to make your guess. So we'll start with a Denise-specific question. Denise, you're going to have to give us the answer to this, or the closest answer that we're going to get out of this, I guess. The question is, what is Denise's comfort food? Okay, so the goal, Denise, you're gonna have to, they might not pick exactly what your comfort food is, but you're gonna pick your best choice out of the ones that you see on the selections inside of here. So in the chat, please feel free to drop your own idea, whatever you think it might be after hearing from Denise and sharing her ideas. What might her comfort food be?
I also shared my link to the PowerPoint. So if you want any of the things that, now I'm distracted.
Distracted?
Now I'm distracted. Yes. Anyways, all of my information will be on the PowerPoint.
You're like, now I'm getting hungry.
I know exactly.
All right. So you got choices up inside of there. Here are. Okay. All right. Denise, I'm not gonna. No comments from me on these ones, but whatever you think is your best answer.
I think. I mean, I can't. Okay. A new runner-up came in.
Oh, all right. You guys can still slide them in if she hasn't given the answer yet.
Yeah, I haven't given my answer yet, but sushi took it. Honestly, you can't go wrong with a good sushi. I was gonna go for a bubble tea, but sushi is for me.
Sushi is the one?
I'm gonna pick sushi, yeah.
All right. Rosanna, congratulations.
Rosanna.
All right. So Rosanna, you're going to get a digital copy of the book. We'll send that along to you. Sorry. There we go. I'm just making sure I take a note of this. And wonderful. So close guesses, good answers inside of there. That was the digital copy of the book, and we're going to give away. This is a second question. This is another 6-month access to the ELT toolkit. And let's take a look. This question is, For me, what's my favorite candy? What's my favorite candy? All right. We'll see inside here. Uh-huh. Okay. Ooh, interesting guess is good. I've got feelings about all of these candies, but so we're seeing, let's see, Chuckles. Actually, I don't, Michelle, I'm gonna say it's not Chuckles because I don't know what that is, but Jolly Ranchers candy corn, Seas candy. Ooh, that's a good choice inside of here too. I think now I have to learn what these things are, these Chuckles. They're apparently the best. I think I'm gonna go with my closest choice here is going to be let's say, don't hold me to this forever, but for today, I'm going to go with this, which is going to be, I think I'm going to go with See's Candy, a really good quality chocolate. I think I have to go with that. And that is Jennifer Parker. All right. Congratulations. Let me make sure I get a note on this here. So this is for the book, digital. Oh, no, sorry, that's the toolkit. Sorry, the toolkit. Awesome. So Jen, that will be coming along your way. We'll make sure that you get that. Everybody did have good choices in there, and on another day, you might have hit me with some of those for sure. So
Thank you, Brent, and thank you for everyone's contribution. That has been an amazing webinar.
cool, cool. Well, we're still going. We got a few more to share. So thank you so much. Let's move forward now. Ed Campos is in the room, although Ed, I'm not sure where you're at right now because I know you said you might be driving back and forth and you might be jumping in on your phone or something like that. So let's double check and see if Ed's here with us. Ed, you're here. All right. I'm gonna pin you, and we'll Gwen, if you can make Ed a featured presenter. I think he's just gonna talk. I think Ed is not presenting on a slide deck. Is that right?
Yeah, I'm also driving and doing that. No, I'm just joking. I'm not driving right now. I'm parked.
I think Nancy,
yeah,
if she's on, I
little
would
joke,
do
little
that.
joke.
I'll ask
But
her.
Okay.
no.
All right.
I
Ed.
pulled over the molasses traffic of the 101 here in the Bay Area. So yeah, I can share some links. But first of all, I'm glad to be here. Awesome to support Brent as always. Love supporting my brilliant friends, and excited to share. I want to share two things, if that's okay, and I can try and drop the links to them. One, I've been doing a lot of work, just something that helps our multilingual learners and our families, because I've been doing a lot of community work recently, and I have a nonprofit that I started, and we've been doing some events recently through like ELOP, community schools initiatives, and we did like a music night. And I brought in a friend of mine, one of my board members. She's an artist doing djembe drumming. And, I speak Spanish, more Spanglish, California Spanglish. But I try. I have a lot of ganas, and I try, and I don't take myself too serious. I learn through mistakes. But my friend Jarrett, who ran the djembe lesson, does not speak Spanish, and most of the students, did. But some are multilingual learners. But a lot of the parents who were sitting in the community in the gym watching did not. So I remember a good friend of mine, Efrain Tovar, who started the California Newcomer Network here in California, had shared with me the way that you can have PowerPoint do live translated captions while you present, which I said, hey, I remember this. And so I pulled that up, and I had Jarrett present his djembe lesson, which was then awesomely translated into Spanish for the community, which allowed us to get more of the parents involved in the drum circle, which I thought was a beautiful thing. Although I'm mostly Team Google, that Office 365 team is recruiting pretty hard with that one. So I don't know if that's existing in Google yet. And then the other tool that I use, and I love, that's why I love having a friend like Brent and this community here is, my background is a high school math teacher. So I taught high school math for 15 years before consulting. And one of the things I love that's not technology related, but they came out of Stanford. Stanford coined them and did some research on them. The math language routines, like co-crafting questions, just a lot of really amazing routines for multilingual learners to engage with academic content on their own language, get more practice speaking and listening. And huge fan of those. But one of my favorites is called Stronger and Clearer Each Time. Is anybody familiar with that one? I love that one. I'll explain that first and how I use how I use it on paper, and then how I've kind of translated it using technology. Stronger and Clearer Each Time is basically a successive pair share where you'll say, okay, like jot down ideas. Here's a problem, or what do you think the definition of this word is? And students write a first draft. Their paper is broken into thirds, and they write a first draft. Think time. Okay, now pair up, hands up, stand up, pair up, meet with someone else, read and listen to your first draft. And then if you like some words or phrases used in your partner's draft, you can incorporate those and then now write a second draft. And then do that again to get your third draft, which I thought is really awesome. I mean, it's great to use in PD with adults even. And one way that I've adopted that is to technology. I use a tool like Desmos. If you're familiar with Desmos, which is just the best tool for math teaching, period, like upper elementary on, like hands down. But I'll use like Desmos or something like Pear Deck that has a text response, anonymous an anonymous text question type, and where you have that pause feature. And what I do is I do a version of Stronger and Clearer Each Time through Desmos. So we'll do a bunch of whiteboard work and get students. I'm a big fan of the building thinking classroom research, getting students up and working on whiteboard surfaces. Brent and I have connected over this for quite some time over the years. And it's just the best way to get students talking, engaging. But then, not that it's about tests, but they do take tests on a computer, and they're not taking tests on the whiteboard. So the way I like to translate that is they're getting all this rich thinking and practice speaking and listening on the whiteboards. And then I have them summarize. I open up a text question on Pear Deck or Desmos and have them summarize their thinking, their group's thinking, which is like their first draft of writing. And then I pause it and lock it. And then I start scrolling through the drafts and have people read out what phrases do you like? What responses do you like? What academic language do you like that you might incorporate into your next draft? And then so I call it like first draft, rough draft mathematical reasoning. We don't really, we want to focus on writing and literacy, and we can have rough draft and revisions just like in English. So it's just a way that I like to get students better at mathematical reasoning and typed reasoning in a safe space, because a lot of these tools that allow students the anonymity to share their mathematical responses, because we can get into math trauma, but there's a whole lot of problems with math class historically. But it's just a nice way to learn from better examples and get better by seeing what and talking about what's right and not who's right. So that's one of my favorite ways, to help engage multilingual learners that I've done in the math class.
I love it. I mean, those language learners, you guys, we always talk about our students in our classes, right? Like studying English specifically, but I love having Ed on here because he gives that different perspective, like saying, hey, those students are everywhere, right? Like we know they're not just in our classes if we're, TESOL teachers, but they're out there everywhere. And so really slowing down to think about that, Ed, I mean, that is super powerful. And I love the concept too. One of the things I do spend some time talking about it in the book is the idea that it doesn't have to be tech. I mean, it's edtech for multilingual learners, but like it's not really about the tech. It's about how are we engaging students. And so some of them is like, hey, let's just ditch the tech and go to paper and go to the whiteboards and use these interactive ideas inside of there. So awesome, Ed. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much for sharing. You guys can keep up with Ed out there in the world, Ed Campos, and he's always sharing all sorts of amazing things out there on LinkedIn and all the other places. So thank you, Ed, for all of your work, and thank you for coming again today too. Also, Ed has been helping me talking through all these ideas, like what works, what doesn't work, everything. And so he's been a great partner over this time of building this and kind of being a sounding board on some of my ideas for the book, etc. So again, thanks, Ed, for coming and for pulling over the side of the road to share with us today.
Anytime, man. That's what we do for the homies, right? That's
right. That's right.
Appreciate you.
Much
nice to see a lot of new faces too.
Yeah. All right, thanks, Ed. All right, we're going to sorry, we're moving forward. So Ed was up, and the wonderful the excellent Ishel Reyes. So some of you know Ishel as my co-host on the Diesel podcast, and wonderful teacher, trainer, beloved wherever she goes. Ishel, how are you?
Hi. Hello, everybody. Thank you for having me, Brian. I'm so excited to be here and be a part of this. I shared my slides with you.
Okay, let me go find that. Did you send it into my Gmail, I think, or?
I did.
I got it. Just a moment.
And so as you're pulling that up, are you pulling it up, or can I just share straight out of here?
You can share.
Okay, then that would I think maybe easier. So I teach adult language learners, and I've taught higher ed. So keep in mind that's who I'm working with. Sometimes they're just emerging speakers. And so today I want to share. Give me 1 second. Let me share my slide deck. I'm about to share, and here we go. Can you just give me a thumbs up? Let me know that you can see my slides.
Yes.
Okay. So I wanted to share Twin Peaks AI. So you can find Twin Peaks AI. It says paused on my end. Can you still see it?
I can see it, but it is the full slide deck, not the opened. Or sorry, it's the with the information on the
Let me
sides.
just try it. Let me try it again. Sorry, guys. I'm just using a different browser. I don't even know if it's showing anymore. Okay, we'll go with this. We'll go with this.
There we go. We can see your browser.
And that's not what I want. Okay, hold on.
The joy of technology.
Yes,
when,
the joy of
when you're
technology.
on, what do you say? When you're on the cutting edge, you're gonna bleed. That's the
Yes,
way to think about it.
That's okay. Here we go. And maybe now?
Yeah, we got your full browser or your full browser.
That's okay. Okay, so you should be able to see it now. The whole slide. So Twin Peaks is something kind of cool where you go to the website and you are going to enter a prompt. You only have 100 characters, and the goal is to match an image that they post every day. So so what I have my students do, and I'll show you what it looks like. I have my students have a hard time with adjectives.
Michelle, sorry to interrupt. This is
Yep.
still marking as loading, so maybe if you just keep it with the with
the browser
version.
Okay.
Yeah,
is that
yeah, that's gonna have to work, I think.
Got it. I'm so sorry about that.
All good.
Okay. Can you see it?
Mm-hmm.
Okay. So so yeah, you just won't be able to see the stuff that I had animated. Anyway, you get an image, it loads a daily image, and you have to describe this image so that it'll generate one as close as possible to the original image, and you only have 100 characters or fewer. So since my students have a hard time describing things, I do this idea as an icebreaker, as a brain break, or if we're actually talking about descriptive language. So I usually start off by modeling. So I'll elicit some nouns and adjectives, and I help the students when they're stuck, because initially they'll look at the image that loads on Twin Peaks. And here, let me show you what it looks like. I don't want to show you that one. I showed you the result. And that is totally okay. But you'll see an image, and the students will initially want to describe it with full sentences, but they quickly realize that you only have 100 characters. So then they sort of run into trouble. But what TwinPix will do is that it will generate an image, and then it will also score your image. So of course, my students being competitive, they want to try it again. And so this is what TwinPix looks like. And this is today's image. So today's image. And here is the description that I entered. And I entered a colorful bird centered, it's kind of in the center, and magical creatures in a bright, colorful night setting. And so after a few minutes, maybe a couple minutes, if not too many people are using the website, then you actually get the image. Hopefully, is it loading, Brent? Or is it showing?
It's just showing the loading page. It's not
Oh
showing
man.
the full
Okay,
load.
that's too bad. Okay. I really want it because now I can't actually show you. 1 second. 1 second.
You might try a full screen, like a full screen share.
Yeah, let me go ahead and do that. How about that?
I do see it now. Daily Challenge 557.
Yeah, perfect. So again, this was the image for today. I entered and I was under 100 characters. And then this is the one it generated. So the score it gave us was 70%. So that's actually not pretty bad considering that this is what someone else received, a 42%.
It's not moving with you,
Oh
Shell.
man, that's too bad. What is happening here? Yeah, every time can you see this?
We only see the Twin Peaks tab.
So I'm going to delete. So I scored a
there it is,
70.
yeah.
Okay, so I scored a 70. And there is a share button. So once you share, it'll actually give you feedback on how it arrived at that score. And so a 70 is not too bad. But of course, I've tried many prompts before, so I get better at it. But if you compare it to other people's prompts, you can start to ask the students, well, why do you think this one got a 42? And they'll probably say, well, why did they even say chicken? Someone probably didn't know the word for this bird. So what we do is we try for another score. But this time, now that I've modeled for the students generate their own nouns and adjectives, and then they compare the differences between the images generated and collect new or favorite phrases. So then I actually thought, what would happen if we enter the same image into AI, any AI, and ask it to describe the image? Will it beat us? Can it describe better? So we did, and into ChatGPT, I actually uploaded the image. You can see it here. I'm here on ChatGPT, and I said, can you describe this picture in 100 characters? I could probably do a better way of prompting it. But it gave me back a cosmic quail in a dreamy galaxy surrounded by glowing stars, happy birds, and dancing spirits. And so, of course, students are like, oh my goodness, what's a quail? Oh, a galaxy. Yes, you're right. There's a galaxy. Oh, glowing. What does glowing mean? Spirits. Which ones are the spirits? And so you start to collect, I call them collecting words, because usually language learners and all language learners, when we read, we pick up all these new words and phrases and collocations. And it's the same thing as reading what ChatGPT gives us. So then we enter this generated text into ChatGPT, and we wanted to know, can AI beat us, or can we beat AI? We scored a 70. And AI with that prompt scored 72, which is actually not that much better than us. So then my students, of course, are going to say, okay, we want to do this again. And I'll have the students talk about the similarities. Why do you think it scored 72%? Why do you think it scored higher than our prompt? And so you can start to either have them talk about it, or they'll even generate, they'll ask there are long feathers here, or over here there's kind of angels, which are like spirits. So I like this activity because students will want to do it again. And that's the thing, that you can do it again and again. And now you will have more language that students can use. And they picked up the language straight out of just reading. So here, for example, cosmic whale, right? Glowing stars. And I just want to show you right now some of the pictures that my students did. These are actual pictures from my class. So the first time they tried it, this was a picture from May 27th. It was a 40%. So they laughed so hard when they saw their image because it was kind of a cartoonish image. And so they said, oh, we said rainbow colors. So it sure enough gave us a rainbow here. We said lights hanging from the ceiling. Well, the lights weren't really hanging from the ceiling, but here it generated that. Then they got better. So TwinPix gives you a new image every day. So the following day, May 28th, this was the original image, and my students got better. So notice the placement, they scored a 75. This is going from a 40% to a 75. And of course, we wanted to know, can AI beat our score? And AI beat our score. So then we had a whole conversation on, why do you think AI beat your score? And so I had the students talk about it. But again, this is generating language, having them think more carefully about generating descriptions. And that is the activity that I have. I will drop this link to TwinPix AI. Now you can generate an image for free. Sometimes the website is jammed and it'll say, pay $1.99 to get your results faster. But just come back to the page and you can
Don't
get
do
it. Don't do it. But I'll drop this link in the chat. I am on LinkedIn if you want to follow me for more ideas or share what you're doing with your students. I would love to connect. And that is my share. Thank you, Brent.
That is so awesome, Ishel. So Ishel, you and I, so we have been talking about these ideas around how much image generation can really make a difference in the language learning conversation. And there's a whole world with the AI image generation and language learning that I imagine is going to explode in research and changes, because it's a totally different thing that never really existed before. And so, big ups to Ishel for starting the explorations around some of those things. There's just so much fun stuff to do. So I am going to, again, drop the link to the just for you to put your name in case you want to win a prize. We've got a couple more coming up in just a second, as soon as I get my share going. All right. So if you have not already put your name into the form there, please feel free to go ahead. You can add your name into this, and we're going to be giving away our last giveaways here. So this one is a hard copy of the book. So I will actually mail this to you. I'll reach out to you later to get your mailing address, and I'll mail you a copy of the book. And also the second ticket to Sarah's AI in the language classroom workshop, which is, as you saw from her first presentation, it's just like that's just scratching the surface, and there's so much cool stuff to explore there. So so we'll be giving those away. Again, that link is there in the chat. If you haven't put your name into that already, please do feel free to go and do that now. And we'll do a couple last spins of the wheel to make sure everybody gets a chance to win and participate. I see a couple people in here who maybe want to add their names in there. I'll give you just a moment. Oh, and also while you're doing that, I'm just going to say too, Ishel, for yours, another thing about that is like, it's really great for like parts of speech, right? When we're talking about, hey, make sure that we know our nouns and our verbs and like, locations, all those kinds of things. But I'm also thinking about pulling that in for grammar stuff too, right? Because I want to see my students like, okay, how are you writing your grammar around, it's limited, right? You've only got 100 characters, but what grammar choices are you using to describe how things are working in relationship with one another as well?
And then Brian, I had only 10 minutes, but what teachers could really do is now write a paragraph about that image. And now you're going to actually have the students be more interested in writing about it because they just interacted. So that's all I wanted to say. Just had 10 minutes.
Love it. Love it. Okay. All right, I see names coming in. I think what we'll do here for these last ones is even if you already won something, we'll put you back into it for as well. We'll see. This is kind of the big last ones here, so we'll make sure that everybody gets a chance here. But let's get to it. So I think I see everybody who's still here in the room. I'm not sure if I think Mark dropped. Sorry. Okay. All right, we're gonna give it a spin. This first one will be for for the book. The book. So hard copy cover of the book. I am going to give this a spin. Let's see how we do. Denise. Okay. Denise, I don't know if I can send this to Canada. I'll see how much it costs me, but we'll figure this out. Okay. You're the only
it's
one
not
who's
a digital copy.
I can definitely do that. But I'll take a look and see what the cost of mailing it to this. I'm sorry. I do have a little like that gets hard when we cross borders, and of course, tariffs. Hey. All right. But we'll put you down and we'll get you a copy one way or another, whether it's digital or paper. So thank you. Thank you. And one last spin. This is for the ticket to AI in the English Language Classroom workshop. Again, thank you to Sarah for running that and to Teasel for offering it. Very, very kind. And here we go. Nita. All right. Congratulations, Nita. I will make sure I've got your email address there. I will make sure that that Teasel has that information so that they can send that along to you as well. Congratulations. Okay, we are just about out of time here. Thank you guys so much. If you're still interested, if you're wanting to look at all these things and these resources, I will put a link to the information. There are discount codes. There are tons of bonuses if you sign up before. So the discount prices are going away on, I think, 4th of July. I am closing down all the extra giveaways that I am giving on July 3rd at midnight. So just so we can take a quick look at this. Oops, just a moment. I will just show you, just so you know, I am giving away a lot of stuff as much as I can for giveaways and for freebies. So when you go down, you can look and see. Even if you won something, let me know because I'll give you the passwords to get the bonuses. But here's what's happening. If you get the book or the toolkit, either one, I'm giving away exclusive monthly on-demand webinars for 6 months. So there'll be a video every month for you if you get it in before July 3rd, midnight, 11:59. Bonus activities for each chapter. So every chapter, so it'll basically make that into 56 fun and flexible activities. You'll get an extra chapter for an extra activity for every chapter inside of here. Those will be sent out every month. And then also the differentiation training, which is currently available, will be closed down. Now, if you are interested in both of these at the same time and get one or the other, and by the way, I will also honor it if you won one and want to go get the other one and count those as two. That's totally fine. You'll get those same bonuses, plus you'll get my AI and language learning prompt book. So there's another 48 prompts that you can drop right into AI to work with all of those things. and around all of the different language skill sets, and also the much requested, the one question that people said in the book, they said they looked through everything, where's the grammar section? And I said, well, that grammar chapter is going to be coming a little bit later, and I will make sure that you get a copy of the grammar chapter with full 8. It's going to be just a bonus separate PDF down the line, but I expect to have that ready in October. It does take some time, sorry, to get all that done, but there is a whole extra basically unit to the book coming along as well. So if you're interested in those, again, those deals are only available if you sign up and get both of the things before 11:59 on July 3rd, and then July 4th, the pricing, the discount prices and all of those things go away. So take advantage of it if you can now. We'll make sure that you get access to everything. Woo, that's a lot going on, you guys. That was a fast hour and a half, and everybody shared some amazing stuff. I mean, that that was so cool. Like, I want to grab every little part of this, and Gwen's here from Teasel, and Gwen's gonna be like, oh, let's get that video, and let's get that video. There's all sorts of cool stuff inside of here, you guys. So thank you so much. Thank you so much to everybody who shared and presented. Thank you to Teasel for offering this space for us here today. Gwen, you're representing Teasel today on and opening up this room. If there's any last comments from you.
Well, I just want to thank you, Brent, everyone who presented and all of the attendees who came tonight. I thought this, was just really fun. I wasn't sure exactly of all the surprises you had in mind. So yeah, I really enjoyed it as well. And we did record this, so we will be able to share it, and maybe we will use different pieces of it. But yeah, tons of great content. And please, yes, consider getting both the awesome book and toolkit by Brent.
All right. Thank you all so much, everybody. Have a excellent day, and I hope you step into a wonderful summer for the rest of the time. I'll see you around. Thank you.